Hey guys, welcome to the next video on OpenCV tutorial for beginners using Python. In this video, we will discuss about histograms in OpenCV. So what is a histogram? So you can consider histogram as a graph or a plot which gives you an overall idea about the intensity distribution of an image. So let me give you some examples and then I will be able to explain you better how histogram works and why they are useful. So to start with, I have this example which is a very normal example. Here I'm creating 200 by 200 pixel image using NumPy zeros, which essentially mean that we are going to get a 200 by 200 pixel image of black pixels. So let me just start this example, and you can see this is the final result. So all the pixels here in this image are black and the size is 200 by 200. Now let's say we want to calculate or find out the histogram of this image. So there are several ways of finding out histogram of an image. So let's see them one by one. So first of all, we are going to find out the histogram using the matplotlib because the plot using matplotlib you can draw easily. So let's use that first of all. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use PLT because I have already imported this matplotlib library as PLT. So PLT dot hist, there is a function called plt.hist which calculates the histogram of an image. And because it's just a grayscale image or it's just a black image, so it's easier to find out the histogram. So what you can do here is the first argument here will be your image or your source. So I'm going to just say image dot ravel. Okay, so there is a method called ravel. The second argument here will be maximum number of pixel values. So I'm going to just say 256. The third argument here will be the range. So the range will vary from 0 to 256. Okay, so this is all you need to find out the histogram using the matplotlib, and you just need to show this plot in a matplotlib window. So you can just say plt.show. So that's it. So let's run this code and let's see what happens. So you see this plot using matplotlib and also our original image. So as we have created the image of 200 by 200 pixel of black pixels, so all the intensity of this graph you can see is 0. So you can see here 200 multiplied by 200 is equal to 40,000. So these are the number of pixels. So on the y-axis you will see total number of pixels, and here the intensity. So intensity starts from 0 to 256. So this graph is showing how many number of pixels inside an image which have this pixel values. So in our example, all the pixels inside this image have the pixel value 0. That's why this graph is like this. So all the 40,000 pixels inside the image have the pixel value 0. So you will get this type of histograms. So once again, the histogram is a graph or a plot which gives you the overall idea about the intensity distribution of an image. Now histogram is just another way of understanding the image. By looking at the histogram of an image, you can get the intuition about the contrast, brightness, intensity, distribution, etc. Now let's improve this example which we have. So I'm going to just close this window, And let's say I want to add some white pixel also inside this image. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to just cv2 dot rectangle. So I'm going to just add the rectangle inside this image, and the source here will be the img variable. Then where I want to introduce this rectangle. So I want to introduce this rectangle at this point, which will be, let's say, which starts from 0 comma 100, and the second point here will be, let's say, 200 comma 200. Okay, so this will be 200, and the next value here will be the color. So let's say we want to add the white pixels, so this will be 255, which will be the maximum value. And then the next argument will be the thickness. So I'm going to just say -1, which will fill this rectangle inside this image. So when I run now this code, you will see this graph and this image. So you can see half of this image contains black pixels and half of this image contains the white pixels. And we already know that the size of this image is 200 by 200. That's why here in the graph you will see 20,000 pixels are black, which means that 20,000 pixels have the pixel value 0, and 20,000 pixels have the pixel value 255. That's why you see this here. So you can see, you can easily find out the pixel intensity of an image easily using histograms. Now next we are going to add some more pixels into this image, and this time what we are going to do is we are going to add the rectangle inside the same image. So let's say it goes from 0 comma 50 to 100 comma 100, and the color here we are going to provide the pixel value of 127, let's say. Okay, so which is the half of 0 and 255 approximately. So I'm going to run this example once again, and now you will see this kind of image. So you can see half of the pixels here are white. That means 20,000 pixels have the pixel value of 255. So you can see here. Now around 15,000 pixels here in the half of this image have the pixel value of 0. That's why you can see this line here, and we have added the rectangle of pixel value 127 also. So around, you can see around 5,000 pixels here have the pixel value of 127. So this is how the histogram is going to work. So let's use now the original image, so some kind of image instead of this black or white image. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just once again declare a variable, and then I'm going to just say cv2 dot imread, and we are going to read some file. So let's say I have this lena.jpg image, so I'm going to just read that. I hope the extension is correct, jpg, and we are going to read this image in the grayscale mode. So I'm going to just say 0 here, and now I'm going to run this example once again, and you can see this Lena image is loaded in the grayscale mode, and here is the histogram of this image. So these are all the pixel intensities inside this image. So you can see from this graph that most number of pixels contained inside this image have the pixel value around 150. Now you can also find out the pixel intensity of different colors. So till now we have been just using the grayscale mode or black or white pixels, but you can also use the same histogram for the BGR values also. So let's see how we can do that. So what we are going to do is, let me just remove this code, or I'm going to just leave it commented, and here I'm going to just say b comma g comma r, and there is a method we have already seen which is called cv dot split, which is going to split your image into bgr values. So we are going to just give the source, which is our image, and then if you want to show these bgr values, you can just show in the I'm show window. So bgr, and here also bg and r, and when you want to show the histogram of bgr values, then also you can use matplotlib.hist method. You just need to change this source from image to bgr, so b, g and r. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, we are going to run our code and let's see what happens. So it's giving me this error because I'm reading this image in the grayscale mode. So I'm going to remove this extra parameter from IamRead, because we want to read this image in the color form, and then only we will be able to get the BGR channels, right? In the grayscale mode, there are no BGR channels. So I'm going to run this script once again, and let's see what happens. So you can see this histogram of blue channels and green channels and the red channels, and these are the images which are loaded in these different channels. So this is the image which is loaded in the blue channel, and this is the green, and this is the red channel, and you can see the histogram of each channel differently using matplotlib. So let me just close all these windows. Now there is a method in CV2 also, which is called calc_hist, which is going to give you the histogram of an image. So for that, what you can do is, I'm going to just comment all this code, because I just want to show how you can use the CV2 calc_hist method. Okay, so what you can do is, you can use a method. So let's say hist and then cv dot calc_hist, and this method takes few arguments. So the first argument here will be the image. So it's the source which you give, but the only special thing is you just give this image in the square brackets. Okay, the second argument here is the channels. So it is the index of channels for which we calculate the histogram. So here in our case, because we are going to read the image in grayscale mode, we can just give the channel 0 here. So for one channel you can give 0 here, for different channel you can give 0, 1, 2 value. The next argument here is the image mask. So to find histogram of full image, it is given as none, because our image is loaded in the grayscale mode, so we can give here none. The next value is the hist size. So this hist size is the representation of bin counts, and this is also given in the square bracket. So we are going to just say 256 here. The next argument is the range. So range will vary from 0 to 256. So minimum and the maximum range of the x-axis, you can say, so 256. And then we can just show this hist or histogram inside the plt. So plt.plot method. So dot plot, and then we can just give this histogram value here. Okay, so let's run this code and let's see what happens. So you can see you get the histogram of this image using the OpenCV calc hist method. And what are the uses of the histogram? So a histogram can tell you whether or not your image has been properly exposed. So when you take a digital image, it's very useful. It can also tell you whether the lighting conditions were flat or harsh when you took that image. And using the histogram, you can also make the adjustments which will work best for your digital images. So this the usefulness of the histograms we will see in the later videos. This was just the basics about the histograms in OpenCV. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.